We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Hello, my crafty friends. I sure hope you're having a fabulous day. My name is Robyn Pitts. If you're new to my channel or you are a returning subscriber, welcome. And welcome to the May episode of the Christmas All Year Collab, hosted by Betty from Scrap Passion 01 on YouTube. Betty has gathered a wonderful group of designers who share brand new Christmas projects every single month. Please be sure to check the description box below. I have a list of all the designers. I know you will love their projects. For this month, I have created this fun Accordion Fan Box Card. To make this project, I use a paper collection from Graphic 45 called Merry and Bright. I use the 8x8 paper collection along with the ephemera. This project is a beautiful showstopper and makes a wonderful gift. This card measures 11 3/4 inches from side to side, and from the top to the bottom, it measures 7 inches. On either side, there is a box, and each box measures 5 inches by 2.5 inches, and the depth is 1/2 inch. And you can open these boxes and include fun goodies. On the top of this left box, I have embellished it with this beautiful poinsettia. I did use diamond stickles to make it sparkle a little bit, and then I included this golden gem in the center. We've got these fun bells here and beautiful Christmas ornaments. Here in the center, we've got these layered candles and more Christmas ornaments. And in the center, we've got this beautiful accordion fold. Now, I have alternated the ridges here with a cream and green paper, and then on the right side we have gold foil. So I don't know if you can see that. You can see the shininess and the reflection of the green paper. In the center we've got this beautiful Christmas tree and a sentiment that says Merry Christmas. Now for each of the ephemera here, I did back this on heavyweight cardstock to make it more sturdy. On the right side, we have this beautiful box with another poinsettia and a beautiful spray, and then these 3 Christmas ornaments. Isn't this fun? And then on the bottom, we have a little pedestal where you can include a sentiment. You can also include 3D elements here. For this project, I've just kept it simple. Now on the back, I've just decorated with beautiful paper. Now you can leave one of these panels blank to include a sentiment. What I plan to do is include a folded note in one of the boxes and then a small gift on the other side. Now that I've given you an overview of this project, I'm going to grab my materials so that we can make it together. For this project, I am using a beautiful Christmas paper collection from Hot Off the Press, and it's called Christmas Cardinals. I am using the 6x6 paper collection. To begin, we will first work on creating one of these boxes. Now I already have one done, so we're going to do one together. So you will need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 7 by 7, so using 1 sheet for each box. And you are going to score at 2.5, 3 1/4, 5 3/4, and 6.5. You're going to rotate your paper to the right so that this 1/2 inch tab is on the bottom. Then you're going to score at 3/4 of an inch, 5 3/4, and 6.5 inches. Next, you want to fold and burnish along all of the lines. Now that we have our paper folded and burnished, we need to create some cut marks. So I've brought in this darker paper here, and I've also added in areas to show you where you're going to cut. First, you want to make sure that you have this 1/2 inch tab on the right, and then on the bottom, you'll have these 2 larger tabs with 2 smaller squares. If you look on this sheet here, what we're first going to do is create a cut line along these two score lines here, and then a cut mark along these two score lines here, and then we're going to cut off this little box here. So let's do that together. So we're going to cut along this score line right here, right up to this first score line. We're going to create another cut right next to it, and then while we're here, we're going to slightly miter the edge so that there is no score line there. Now we're going to cut right here and right here. Okay, we're going to miter there and there, and then we're going to cut off this little tab here. And while you're here, we're going to miter this edge here just by cutting a little wedge out of it. So now you should have a piece that looks like this on the bottom. Okay, let's flip this over, and using this as a model, we're going to cut up to the second score line here. We're going to cut off this tab. We're going to cut off this piece here, this entire area, and then we're going to cut along the score lines on this piece. So doing that together, we're going to cut up to the first and second score line. We're going to do that for the next set of score lines. We're going to cut off this first tab here, and while we're here, we're going to create a little miter. We're going to cut off this little piece right here. Okay, and now we're going to cut along this score line here and this score line here up to the second score line. We're going to cut off this little piece right here. And then we're going to cut off this entire piece right here. So let's fold this piece up. And we're going to cut this entire piece off. Okay. And while we're here, let's miter these tabs a little bit. Just a slight sliver. So this is what your piece should look like. You've got a tab on the left side. You've got these two tabs here. And this piece here. And along the other side, you've got these two larger tabs here and the smaller tabs here. Now we have all of our cutting done. Let's turn this piece over. And we're going to fold in this 1/2 inch tab. This is going to be our glue tab. And then we're going to fold this flap over to create the box. So let's add some glue here. And we're going to burnish this. So now we have our tabs glued down. You should have a piece that looks like this. You want to make sure that this top tab here is facing towards the back. Okay, and then what we're going to do is turn our box over. And again, we want this top tab to be facing the back. So we're going to fold these pieces down. We're going to add glue here. We're going to fold this piece in, and then we're going to add glue on this tab, and then we're going to close the box up. Okay, and if you want to, you can go in with your bone folder or ruler and just make sure that the bottom is burnished well. Okay, so now we've got our box. Before you close the box, you want to make sure that the flap will fit in nice and securely. And because we've mitered those edges, as you can see, it fits nicely. So when I open this, if you find that there is any resistance, what you can do is just miter these tabs slightly, just to give it a little bit more wiggle room. Also, you can miter this tab here very slightly. Okay, and that should make your lid fit nicely. Now that we have our box complete, let's start adding the decorative panels. For each of these panels, I have triple matted them, but you certainly don't need to do that. For the front and back of the boxes, you will need 4 pieces of a solid cardstock, and in this case, I'm using the red that measures 2¼ inches by 4 3/4 inches. The silver layer measures 2 inches by 4½ inches. And the pattern paper measures 1 3/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So you're going to need 4 sets of these to go on the front and the back of the box, just like so. Then you're going to need these side panels, and you're going to need 1 for each box. And I already have 1 on this box, and this is going to be my right side box. So I have the panel here, and I have nothing here. This is where the accordion is going to go. And for this box, we're going to place our spine on the left side, the outer side of the box. And this piece measures, for the red cardstock, 1/2 inch by 4 3/4. The silver is 3/8 of an inch by 4 1/2, and the decorative paper is 1/4 of an inch by 4 1/4. And again, that's going to be glued on the side. Then you need 2 pieces that go on the top, 1 for this box and 1 for that box, which is already glued down. And the red paper measures 1/2 inch by 2 1/4 inches. The silver is 3/8 of an inch by 2 inches, and this decorative paper is 1/4 of an inch by 1 3/4, and that's going to go right on the top. And again, when you're gluing this down, you want to make sure that this top tab is facing to the back, and it is on the top. So let's go ahead and glue these decorative panels down now. Now we have our 2 boxes complete. Let's put them aside. And we're going to grab 2 pieces of paper that measure 8 1/4 inches by 5. And you're going to score at 3/4 of an inch throughout the entire piece. So on the 8 1/4 side, you're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. You're going to score at 1 1/2 of an inch, 2 1/4, 3, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 6, 6 3/4, and 7 1/2. And you're going to do that for both pieces. And then you're going to fold it up like an accordion. So you've got your mountain, valley, mountain folds. Okay. And you want to make sure that you burnish very well so that there's a nice crisp fold. Okay, and you want to do that to both pieces. Okay, so now spread these pieces open. And what we're going to do is take this mountain fold here, and we're going to glue it to this tab that's facing up. Put glue right here and connect the pieces. Okay, you want to make sure you get this right up to the score line. Okay, you want to fold it up again. Make sure it's nice and crisp. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off this left side, this piece where it has a mountain fold. You want to cut right along the score line because you need a piece that's facing up just like this to glue to the side of the box. So let's go ahead and cut this piece off now. Now we have our accordion fold with these 2 flaps facing up. You can choose to use pattern paper or a different color paper. In this case, I've used white paper, but I have created mats to go on these panels. And so I've created 9 pieces that will go starting right here on this outside flap. And it's going to go on every other piece, just like so. And these pieces measure, the red base is 5/8 of an inch by 4 7/8, and the blue pattern paper is 1/2 an inch by 4 5/8 inch. And again, I'm putting them on every other panel, just like so. And then I have this silver foil paper to go on the opposite side of this pattern paper, just to use as a reflection. Okay, so I'm putting silver foil right on this inside panel here. Again, this is not necessary. This is just what I chose to do. Not only is it a pretty decorative element, but it also makes the card sturdy. Okay, so now we can glue these panels on, and then we'll move to the next step. I have glued all of the decorative panels onto my accordion fold. Now we need to attach it to the boxes. So you want to put one box on either side of the accordion fold. So this one is going to go on the right because it's got the outside panel. Again, you want to make sure that the lid opening is facing the back, and then we have this box here. So we are going to add glue to this panel and attach it to the side of the box just like so. It should be completely flush. So let's glue that down now. Okay, and we're going to align this to the side of the box. And take your bone folder and burnish it so there's a nice strong adhesion. Okay. Turn around and do the same thing on the back. And then you want to glue this panel to the side of the box. So let's go ahead and glue that down now. Now that we have our 2 boxes attached, we need to glue hinges onto the bottom that will attach to the base of the card. So you will need 2 pieces of cardstock that measures 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And on the 3-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 an inch. And then you're going to fold that down. Now these hinges are going to be attached to the bottom of the box. So on the right side, you're going to put the hinge just like so, and this tab is going to be facing down because this is what's going to be glued to the bottom of the card. And then on the left side, you want to make sure your piece looks like this, and then we're going to glue it to the bottom just like so. So go ahead and glue those down now. Next, you want to create your base. And this piece measures 7 inches by 2.5 inches. That's a white piece. The red piece is 6 3/4 by 2 1/4. The silver piece is 6 1/2 by 2. And this blue piece is 6 1/4 by 1 3/4. So you want to place your base down, and then you want to squeeze in your accordion folds. You'll notice that I have the 2 tabs on the bottom here. We're going to put glue on the outside of these tabs, and then we're going to center it on this panel. Okay, and when you do that, you want to make sure you hold it in place until it sets. So let's add glue now. You want to put ample glue on these tabs. Okay, so squeeze these in like so, and we're going to attach the tabs down right in the center of our base. You're going to have to make sure that you hold it for a while because it's going to want to pop out, as you can see here, and just you can wipe up any excess glue. Now that we have our card securely fastened to the base, we're going to take a piece of decorative paper that measures 5.5 inches by 1 inch, and we're going to position that right over the tabs, just like so. Once this piece is glued down, now you can begin the fun part, which is decorating. I'm going to decorate this offline, and then I will be back with the final project. Here's my completed project, and I love the way this turned out. This Christmas cardinal paper is absolutely beautiful. Now, I didn't have any ephemera with this collection, so everything you see here has been fussy cut. The one exception are these stamps here where it says peace and joy. These are ephemera pieces that I took from the Graphic 45 Merry and Bright collection. On the left here, we have the peace stamp, and then on the bottom, I cut this image out from the 12 by 12 Christmas cardinal paper collection, and it's this cute little birdhouse with the cardinals. In the center, we've got this beautiful accordion, and as you can see, the beautiful papers that we attached to the accordion folds. This piece here, the wreath here, I fussy cut from a 6x6 piece of paper. So we have the top part and the bottom part of the wreath, and then this is an image in the 6x6 paper as well. I love the way that cardinal looks just as a standalone image. And then on the right side, I also fussy cut these two cardinals here, and we have on the bottom the stamp that says joy. Now with each of these images, for the light areas, I did use my diamond stickles glue to make it pop a little bit. Now, here's a tip for you. If you don't have ephemera for a particular collection, that's no problem. All you have to do is get a good pair of fussy cutting scissors and cut out the images that you want. Now, for each of these images here, I did back on a white piece of 110-pound cardstock, so each of these images are very sturdy, as you can see. Now, on the back of the card, I have included this pretty image. This is from the 6x6 paper collection. There are two cardinals here. And then on the right side, I have these cut apart words. These are actually rub-ons from the Merry and Bright collection. And I loved it so much and thought it would be a nice piece to add to the back of this card. And it says, "Let the Christmas season fill your heart with love and your home with joy." And each of these boxes open. Here's another look at my two Accordion Fan Box Cards. Hopefully, I have inspired you with new and creative ideas. If you like this project and this tutorial, please take a moment to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to join me next month for another fun Christmas All Year Collab. Bye for now, and happy crafting.
We